Patanjali Rishikul presents Kanchha the Rhino for class 1 and 2.
Good morning, children. Today we are going to read a very interesting story about a little rhino named Kanchha and its experiences in the forest. So are you ready? Let's start.
In a vast grassland, there lived a little rhino. His name was Kanchha. Kanchha was 2 years old and lived with his mother. He loved to wander about the grassland. His mother would often warn him, "Kanchha, there are a lot of bad things out there. Be careful, son. Always remember to leave your scent so that you can smell your way back home." He nodded his head. Kanchha understood, but it was hard for a little rhino to remember everything his mother told him. One afternoon, as the sun was beating down on the grassland, Kanchha decided to cool himself with a mud bath. Lying in the mud, he flicked off flies with his ears. Suddenly, he heard a strange noise. He twitched his ears to figure out where it was coming from. He had never heard such a sound before. He jumped up from the mud and walked closer to the sound. He walked and walked, but he could not make out where the noise was coming from. He looked around and realized that he had walked much farther than he thought. He remembered his mother's words and turned around to walk back home. Then he heard the same sound again. He saw a giant python sliding towards him, and it filled him with fear. He ran and hid behind the tall grasses. He whispered to himself, "That python is going to eat me up. Ma, please save me." He was very scared. He closed his eyes tightly and stayed very still. He waited and waited. Luckily, nothing happened. Kanchha carefully peeked through the tall grasses. He saw the python swallowing a deer. He breathed a sigh of relief. It was getting dark, and Kanchha knew it was time to go home. He turned around. He looked right. He looked left. He tried to find his scent, but he could not smell it anywhere. He ran round and round, but could not make out which direction he had come from. He remembered his mother's words again, and he began to cry. "Kanchha, Kanchha!" He heard someone calling his name. He twitched his ears. Someone was calling him. He jumped with joy and ran as fast as he could. Thump! Kanchha landed in a pit. Darkness surrounded him. "Kanchha, Kanchha!" He heard his mother calling from above the pit. He felt like crying. "I'm sorry for going too far. Ma, I'm sorry." It was all he could say to his mother. "Don't worry, son. I will go get some help," she promised him. Kanchha looked up at the sky. he saw the moon shining brightly. Kanchha promised himself to be more careful next time. The next morning, Kanchha woke up to find himself tied up with ropes. He could hear noises all around him. Kanchha was confused. He did not know what was happening. Kanchha tried to struggle free, but it only hurt, so he stopped. After a while, he felt himself being lifted. "Have I been captured?" he thought. He found himself on the ground again. He heard all sorts of strange sounds. Hooray! Woohoo! He could hear claps and whistles. Blinded by bright flashes of light, he could barely see anything clearly. There were hundreds of humans around him. They held up posters with a rhino's photograph. Some of them have even pasted a rhino's photograph on their caps. Some rode on elephants, some were driving jeeps, and some were on foot. As he got closer, they were all smiling at him, but he recognized no one. He was scared. Who are they? Why are they here? What are they going to do to me? He thought. One of the humans came towards him and touched him gently. Slowly, he turned Kanchha's head towards the jungle. Kanchha saw his mother waiting for him behind the trees. These humans had not captured him. They had saved him. Kanchha ran as fast as he could to his mother. He was safe again. He would never wander so far without leaving his scent ever again.
So children, what did you learn from this story? We learned that we should always obey our parents. Don't go anywhere without informing them. We also learned that animals are God's special creation. They are created for us to enjoy and cherish. Treat them with kindness and love and help them when they are in need. Thank you.